You gotta be fucking kidding.
Hello, and welcome to Recreational Reviews. I'm Carl, and this channel is usually dedicated to reviewing games, movies, and TV shows. But today I have something a little different. I recently attended the Love of Horror event in Manchester, and during that event I recorded the Thing Q&A panel with David Clennon, Thomas G. Waits, and Peter Maloney. So I thought I'd share it with you guys. Now, John Carpenter's The Thing released in 1982 and is honestly my favourite film of all time, so for me this was a real treat. Now in advance, I'm sorry for the camera quality, as I did record this from my phone, but after a few minutes I do manage to snag a front row centre seat, so it's definitely worth a watch. So I hope you enjoy the video.
Mr. Peter Maloney! Drink it in, guys. The stars of one of the greatest movies ever made. No hype, everything there. We all know The Thing is one of the best horror films of all time, yeah? Have you guys got a lot of questions for these guys? Please throw your hands in the air. We've got David with a roving mic and we'll be coming back and forth the whole panel. I'm going to start, if that's okay. The Thing was a remake, or a readaptation of an older movie and an older book. Were you familiar with the source material before you got involved with John Carpenter's version?
I heard about The Thing when I was about 8 years old, living in Bronxville. My parents would not allow me to see The Thing. It was The Thing from Another Planet, I believe. But other kids in my neighborhood would act it out. And I got scared just watching the kids from my neighborhood stagger around like James Arness. But I never saw the film. I wasn't allowed when it came out. And we all had a screening. John Carpenter arranged for us all to go to a theater on the Universal lot, and we sat there watching the original The Thing from Another Planet.
So John was obviously a fan, and he remade it. He put a scene of it in the original Halloween, didn't he? So obviously it was on his mind to make it. Did John give you any insight into what he wanted before you were making the movie, or did you just strap in and go for the ride?
Yeah, I think we did. What was your guys' experience?
Hello, yes. I auditioned for the movie like I do for any movie, and most of them I don't get the job. But this one was in the Coca-Cola building on Fifth Avenue, and the audition consisted of improvisation. We had to pretend that we were in a war zone.
Oh, yeah, get as close as you can.
Okay, yeah, I forget. I get excited, you know? And so we improvised a regular war zone with, I don't know who the other actors were, but we were pretending to throw grenades. We turned over tables in the office. We created chaos, and John sat there watching, and David Foster, and then I got the job. It was unbelievable. But I mean, I hadn't read the script. There was no script that I knew of. I just said, they said, you want to do it? I said, sure, I want to do it. Let's do it.
You were in New York.
I was in New York.
Yeah, and in California, we were more professional. We read for the part, and I was asked. Anita Dan was the casting director, and she asked me to come in and read for the part of Bennings. And I read the script.
You
and I
did
said,
not read for my part, did you?
I said, I'll come in and I'll read for the part of Bennings, but I would also like to read for the part of Palmer. And so they said, okay. And I read for that part because I never played parts like that before. All the guys that I played wore ties, and they were college educated and not untrustworthy. So I wanted to, try something else. And they gave me the part, and it ended up that it was perfect because Peter Maloney played the part better than I could ever have played it. And I don't mean that. I'm just saying that. I don't know why, but you wouldn't want to see me playing Bennings, right?
It's very funny.
I don't know that I can go on. I'm so moved.
I feel like there's a lot of mischief between you guys.
What about you, Tom? You haven't spoken yet. Unusual.
Unbelievable.
I am rather loquacious by nature. But, no, John didn't say anything about the kind of movie he was going to make or that it was going to be a horror film or a sci-fi film. In my mind, he was making a movie about 9 men stranded in isolation, having to deal with a very serious problem. And
Did anybody tell Tom how many men were actually at Outpost 31?
were there 9?
What?
Were there 11 of us?
11.
To be fair, you could have a football team.
Sorry. Anyway, the 11 men, I guess I discounted. And the way it happened for me is I was in a play off Broadway with Al Pacino called American Buffalo.
Take your time, Tom. It's going to be a long story.
And Kurt and John happened to be in New York, and they saw me in it and asked me to come in and audition. And that's all I got to do.
That's all you needed.
Well, that was short.
Let's talk about the ensemble cast. The thing, obviously, you said there's 11 men on Outpost 31. There's not a single woman in the film, unless you count Adrian Barbeau's disembodied voice. Were you guys locked together during the filming? Were you out on location? You filmed the British Columbia, is that right? Was it filmed?
We filmed on a sound stage in Los Angeles, except for 2 weeks in Hyder, Alaska.
Oh, Alaska, okay.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of bonding going on with you guys? There's a lot of mischief?
2 weeks of rehearsal, which is very rare for a studio to be generous enough to allow a movie 2 weeks of rehearsal. It's expensive, but it allowed us, I thought, to bond in a way that other movies don't get the chance to. And that's why we're able to joke around with one another, because we really got to feel each other out during that 2 week process.
I don't remember it that way.
Let's dive into this, David. How do you remember it?
The whole bonding thing, take that with a grain of salt.
I mean, there's still a clear affection between the three of you. Maybe not you and David, but there's still a clear affection and friendship all these years later. No.
Go ahead, Peter. Hold the mic up to your mouth.
Up to your mouth.
Point it like this.
Like you want to kiss it.
And enunciate.
We had 2 weeks rehearsal, which Tom just told you about. And during that time, we did bond. And during the shooting of the film, we did bond. It was dangerous to make this movie. It was dangerous. You could get killed by the back rotor of a helicopter. We had to practice getting out and getting into helicopters. We had to handle flamethrowers. Imagine, you know what a terrible weapon a flamethrower is? Holy cow.
That's something that shocked me. Actually, I watched it with the director's commentary on the other day. Kurt and John were talking over you guys in the film. Kurt Russell was talking about using his own flamethrower, which I didn't expect.
We did. I actually got to work with a flamethrower. They didn't light it, but if you know what the fuel is, I held the flamethrower and I got to squirt streams and streams of gasoline at a plywood wall. And but what I finally ended up doing was using a fire extinguisher. That was my job when the dogs went crazy. So that was fun.
Did you guys argue over who got the coolest things to do? Like, obviously Kurt got a flamethrower, you got a fire extinguisher. Did you argue? Did you sort of compare over who had the coolest parts of the film?
I don't think so. I think it was more. I think John cast 11, however many of us there were. He cast really talented actors that built characters over the 2 weeks rehearsal. And at the end of the 2 weeks, he brought us all into an office and just checked in with us, like, how's it going for you? You know, do you feel like, are you comfortable? And I think that's one of the things that makes John a great director, is he knows how to listen to his actors, when to listen to his actors.
How about that? You can see it in the movie, the way you interact with each other is very authentic. It feels like you've known each other for a while. I'm going to take a question from the audience, if that's okay.
I was wondering, I'm not too sure if this question has an answer, but I was wondering, who do you guys think was the first person to become a thing? Because I personally believe it to be Palmer, who was the first, but I would really like to know what you guys think.
It's hard to tell which is the first one to be infected, because you could be infected or you could reveal the fact that you have become this creature. But I think that I was the first one to be infected, because the dog got me in the very beginning of the film. It jumped up on me, licked my face, wouldn't stop bunking its nose against my forehead. It was taller than me, and I think that's when I got the virus. What do you think, Tom?
I think that makes sense. That I always thought it was Bennings, but I'm so grateful that the film affected you that way. I think it's a brilliant, wonderful film. And I saw it last night for the first time in a long, long time. And I saw it on a big screen. And these guys, their acting was so just precise, you know. And a person that really stood out in the screening last night was Joel Polis, the guy that plays Fuchs. Bravo for Joel, yeah? He underplayed that character so methodically and helped build the tension I just thought it was a wonderful film. Forget the horror part of it. To me, it was a wonderful film. But I think Bennings was the first to be infected.
I think you're absolutely right about the acting and the performances, and I hate to do this to both of you, but you have got one of my favourite lines in any movie ever. Does everyone know what I'm talking about? Does anyone want to shout it out? Hey! The delivery of that line, you gotta be fucking kidding. Unbelievable.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
How many takes did that take you, or did you just nail it in one? Was that?
Well, I think that we have to give credit to the writer, Bill Lancaster, who, by the way, also wrote the script for a movie called Bad News Bears. That's a bit of a leap, isn't it?
The kids' baseball film.
Yes, he wrote that film, and he was a great writer, and he died way too early. But he gave us material to work with, and then John shaped the material. And it's time for me. So you were talking about that particular line. Yeah, the timing of the line is so perfect, and it was not in the first script. It wasn't in the script until we moved up to Stewart, British Columbia, where we live, and it came, we discovered it in the second or third version of the script, and it was so perfect, and it captures the audience's experience at that moment, and I think that I should shut up now. It was a good question.
Did you ever see the tribute to it in It Chapter 2?
Say again?
Did you ever see the tribute to that scene in It Chapter 2? Stephen King's It?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
One of the characters, Pennywise makes them see their friend's head fall off and turn into a spider, and Bill Hader just does you. You gotta be fucking kidding me. It's unbelievable.
You gotta be fucking kidding.
You may have heard of a series called Only Murders in the Building, and you know that at the end of the first or second season, I can't remember which, Mabel, one of the three leads in the film, sees something happening on a stage on Broadway. A man collapses and actually literally dies, and she watches that happen, and she says, "You gotta be fucking kidding me." Word for word. No, don't clap. Those people stole that line. Why are you clapping?
We're gonna take a question from down here.
Hello, firstly, thank you very much for coming over to the UK. It's a real honour to see you all. Favourite film ever. My question is, what do you think the legacy of the theme is or will be further down in years to come?
Well, I feel qualified, and now I'm going to stand up. I feel qualified to answer that question first because I just, as I mentioned, saw a screening of it on a big screen. And the first time I saw it, I was so self-absorbed, I don't think I saw it for what it was. It's going to go down in history as a seminal moment in film because of John Carpenter's vision. The music, the cinematography, the acting, I was okay, but all the acting, and most interesting to me was the ending. That it's sort of nihilistic. It's like, we're never gonna get out of here. And then, Keith David takes the bottle and goes, well, let's just see what happens. And I think that's such a great, he takes a drink of whiskey. It's such a great irony that he leaves the audience with. And it took a lot of courage to do that for a filmmaker. And I think that's what it will go down in history as a seminal moment in film.
Running out of time. I thought we were all going to stand up like a boy band at one point there. You're absolutely right though, the end of the movie, the bleak nihilistic. Carpenter says the thing is part of his Apocalypse trilogy, and I can really see why. Obviously, if the thing ever gets to mainland America, everyone's fucked. It's a great, great movie. I'm going to take another question from the audience. Over there, way out west. Yeah.
No. Thanks for coming. I came here from Ireland just before I asked my question. I was in Cove in the south of Ireland last year. There's a graveyard there, and Charles Hallahan from the film was buried there. And if you're ever in Ireland, any year, and you're in Cork, go to Cove, and Charles Hallahan's grave is there.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for telling us. In Cove in County Cork.
Yes. I visited last year, someone told me, and I drove down and had a look at it, and it's really nice. I think his family live in Ireland now, but he's there if anyone ever wants to see it.
He was you guys, he was the most beautiful dude. He was, first of all, he worked so much as an actor that he had to turn work down so he wouldn't get into the next tax bracket. Do you know how few actors achieve that? And he was just a great guy, and so much fun. He was a beautiful man. I'm glad to know that, and I plan on a trip to Ireland, and I'm gonna lock that in my mind and make sure I go see him.
Hope you do. My question is actually for you, Thomas. During COVID, I recently watched the TV show Oz, and I saw you turned up in it, and I was delighted. I was like, wow, oh my god, like the thing. Do you have any stories or any experience on being in Oz? You could argue Oz is horrific. It's a pretty horrific TV show, so I'd love to know maybe some experience of that for you.
Yeah, I went in for 4 days of work on Oz. They booked me for 4 days of work. And after the first day, Dean Winters, the star of the show, came up to me and said, hey man, you're really good. And I was there for the next 4 years. But the memory I have is stabbing, what's his name? The drummer for Kiss? Peter Criss. I had to stab him in the neck with a pen and kill him. And then I got thrown into solitary confinement, buck naked. I was 49 years old, and you saw it all. What little of it there is to see.
Swiftly moving on. Peter,
Aren't you glad you asked that question?
have you ever had any unnecessary nudity on screen, Peter? We're talking unnecessary nudity. How did the nude scene make you feel? Was it?
Oh, when I was naked, I was scared. But then once I started doing take after take, it was like no one would really care. It was all men on the set anyway. You know, I mean, there was a script girl, but no one cares. They just want you to get the goddamn shot done. That's it. Movies are about time. As fast as you can get it done, hit your mark, know your lines, do your job, and the crew will love you. And I've always related to the crew because I have a blue-collar background. And I've been fortunate to work with some of the best crews around you. They just make your job easier. We had a great crew on the thing.
We've only got time for one more question, but it appears to be from Kurt Russell down there at the front. You not got a question? Oh, yeah, yeah.
Hi, thanks for coming over. Thomas, the song you're playing at the start of the film, the guitar, in the rec room, what was that? Was that a classical piece you wrote or was that you learned?
It's an old blues lick by Blind Lemon Jefferson.
Can you show me later on? I'll bring the guitar around.
Yeah, I can play it.
Awesome.
I can play it for you if I remember. It's very difficult to play.
Notice your hands.
Yeah, especially mine. But I can do it. I can get by.
Right, love you guys. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that is it. We are out of time. Guys, give it
Thank
up
you.
for the stars of the thing. Peter Maloney, Tom G. Waits and David Clennon.
Thank you for watching. This channel is usually dedicated to reviewing games, movies and TV shows, so be sure to check out some of my other videos for more reviewing content, and don't forget to like, subscribe and hit the bell icon. And before you go, what's your thoughts on The Thing? What fan theories do you have? And should I review the 1982 John Carpenter's The Thing movie? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time peeps, stay frosty.